Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to this video. In this video, we will learn about how to implement the navigation rail view. So let's start by creating a new project. Select the empty views activity, click next, type the name of project and make sure to choose the language Kotlin. After that, we need to choose the minimum SDK version and I am going to use the minimum SDK version API 22, API 23. Click Finish. After creating the project, we will start designing the UI. For that, open the activity main.xml file and replace the constraint layout with relative layout. After that, we will change the background color of our relative layout. That will be a light gray color. Remove this text view and we will create a navigation rail view. Width will be wrap content and height will be match parent. After setting the width and height, we need to set an ID and ID will be navigation rail view. Now we need to show menu items in this navigation rail view. We need to create it first. Right click on resource folder, click new, click Android resource directory, choose the resource type menu and click OK. Now inside this menu resource directory, we need to create menu resource file. Name will be nav menu. Click OK. After that, open the navmenu.xml file and start adding the menu items in this file. Item ID will be action dashboard. After setting the ID, we need to set the title using the property title. Title will be dashboard. Now we need to show an icon. Let's create it first. Right click on variable folder, click new, click vector asset, click the clip art icon. Search for the icon with name home, choose an icon, click OK. Rename the icon with name home black and now click next and finish. Now we can show that icon in our menu item using the property icon and the name of icon is home black. Similarly, we will create another menu item. ID will be action favorites and the title of this menu item will be favorites. Let's create the icon for this menu item. Right click on variable folder, click new, click vector asset, click the clip art icon, choose an icon, click OK. Rename the icon with name favorite black. Click next and finish. Now we can show that icon in our menu item using the property icon and icon name is favorite black. Similarly, we will create another menu item. ID of this menu item will be action chats. After setting the ID, we need to set the title of this menu item that will be chats. Let's create an icon for this menu item. Right click on variable folder, click new, click vector asset, click the clip art icon. Search for the icon with name chat, choose an icon, click OK. Rename the icon with name chat black. Click next and finish. Now we can show that icon in our menu item using the property icon and the icon name is chat black. And we need to create another menu item. ID of this menu item will be action account. After setting the ID, we need to set the title. Title will be account. Let's create an icon for this menu item. Right click on variable folder, click new, click vector asset, click the clip art icon, search for the icon with name person, choose an icon, click OK. Rename the icon with name person black. After that, click the next and finish. Let's show that icon in our menu item using the property icon and the icon name is person black which we have just created. Now we can show that menu in our navigation rail view using the property menu. Type the name of menu that is nav menu. After that we need to create a relative layout with width match parent and height will also match parent. We need to place this relative layout to the end of navigation rail view using the property layout to end of. This relative layout will contain the content that will be updated by clicking the menu items. You may also use the fragments. I am gonna just add a text view and update the text of that text view by clicking the menu item. ID of this text view will be selection text view, and initially the text of this text view will be dashboard. We also need to place this text view in center of this relative layout using the property layout center in parent with value of true. And with that, our basic UI is now completed. Now we will open the main activity.kotlin class. Before handling the navigation rail view menu item selection, we need to initialize it first. Value, name it as navigation rail view equal to find view by ID r.id.navigation railview, which is the ID of navigation railview in activity main.xml file. Similarly, we also need to initialize the selection text view value, name it as selection text view equal to find view by ID, type is text view, r.id.selection text view. That is the ID of the text view in activity main.xml file. Now we will handle the selection of menu items of navigation rail view using navigation rail view dot set on item selected listener. Parameter name will be item, which is of type menu item. And in last of this function, make sure to return the value true to indicate menu item is selected. Now we need to get the ID of selected menu item. Value of item ID equal to item dot item ID. Now we will use the when statement to indicate which menu item is selected. When item ID case will be r dot id dot action dashboard. This condition will be called when user has selected the option dashboard. In that case, we will do two things. First thing is to show a message in the toast using the toast. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show, that is dashboard. Third parameter is the length of the toast. After that we need to update the text of selection text view using selection text view dot text equal to dashboard. Now we need to handle the selection of second menu item. For that we have copied the first menu item selection and pasted it. After pasting the code, we need to change the ID. ID will be action favorites. We also need to change the text of the toast and also text of selection text view. Similarly, we will copy this condition again and paste it after this one condition. After pasting the code, we will change the ID of the menu item. This time ID will be action chats. Also update the text of toast and selection text view. We will copy this condition again to handle the selection of fourth menu item, that is action account. Make sure to change the ID to action account. After changing the ID, also change the text of the toast and text of selection text view. So far, we have added navigation rail view with menu items and we also handle the selection of the menu items. Now we will run the app, but before doing that, open the activity main.xml file and fix the color code. Run the app now. After running the app, you will notice one thing, that is only selected menu items label is being shown. So if you want to show labels of all menu items, we need to use the property, that is label visibility mode label. This will show labels of all menu items. So now we will run the app again and check. Now all labels of all menu items should be shown. Now we can do another thing, that is to add header view in our navigation rail view. For that we need to create a layout file in the layout folder. Right click on layout folder, click new, click layout resource file. Layout name will be nav header. You can add any UI in the header file like profile image or floating action button. Let's replace this layout with relative layout. Width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. I am going to create an image button with width and height wrap content. ID of this image button will be menu button. After that we need to show an icon. Let's create it first. Right click on tribal folder, click new, click vector asset. Click the clip art icon. Search for the icon with name menu. Choose icon. Click OK. Let's change the color of this icon. After that, we will rename the icon with name menu. Click next and finish. Now we can show that icon in our image button using the property source. Name of the menu button is menu. We also need to set a transparent background color for this button, and the padding will be 10 dp. So when user click this button, it will toggle the visibility of the labels of our menu items. We need to create a variable of type boolean in class level. Private variable. Name of the variable will be is expanded equal to false. If you want to make the labels by default unlabeled, then initialize it with false. If you want to show the labels by default, then initialize it with true. Now we need to add the click listener on the menu button that is in the header of Navigation RailView. So let's do it. Navigation RailView dot header view dot find view by ID. Type will be view, and we need to pass the ID of the image button that is in the navheader.xml file. r.id.menu button dot set on click listener. So when user click this button, we need to toggle the visibility of navigation rail view menu items. And for that, we will create a separate function. So whenever user click this button, it will call this function. Private function. Name of the function will be update navigation rail state. This will require two parameters. First parameter will be navigation rail view, and second parameter will be is expanded, which is of type boolean. Now inside this function we need to create a condition. If is expanded, this condition will be called when the value of is expanded variable is true, which means we need to show the labels of menu items. Navigation rail view dot label visibility mode equal to navigation rail view dot label visibility labeled. This will show the labels of all menu items of navigation rail view. After that, we also need to adjust the width of the navigation rail view. For that, we will do in the following way. Navigation rail view dot layout params dot width equal to view group dot layout params dot wrap content. Now we need to create an else statement. In this case, we need to hide the labels of menu items of our navigation rail view. So we will use the property navigation rail view dot label visibility unlabeled. After that, we need to adjust the width of navigation rail view. Navigation rail view dot layout params dot width equal to resources dot get dimension pixel size. Inside this, we need to pass the ID of the property that will be in diamonds.xml file r.diamond.navigation rail collapsed width. Let's create this file first. In this dialog, we need to pass the value of the width that will be 56 dp. Click OK. After creating the file, make sure diamonds.xml file exists in the values folder, that is in the resource folder. Okay, now we need to refresh our layout. For that, we will use the property navigation rail view dot request layout. Now come in the click listener of the menu button that will be used to toggle the visibility of menu items. And we are going to do that in a way is expanded equal to not is expanded. After that, we need to call the function update navigation rail state and pass the first parameter navigation rail view and second parameter is expanded. We also need to call this function in start of the onCreate to apply our default behavior. After initializing the navigation rail view, we will call this function update navigation rail state. navigation rail view as first parameter and is expanded at second parameter. Now open the activity main.xml file. We need to attach the header file with the navigation rail view using the property header layout and pass the nav header.xml file. After that, run the project. When the app runs successfully, you will notice that the labels are not showing because we have initialized the variable is expanded with the value of false. So if you want to show labels by default, initialize it with the value of true. And of course, there are more customizations available. You may check their documentation to apply. And I have also created the same video for Java.